Great. I don't want to wait too much longer. It's 8 o'clock now, my time. I'm here in California. Guy, it's 5 o'clock there in France, and it's looking very wintry outside. I can see outside the window now. Um,
Yes.
Happy holidays to everybody. Christmas 2025 is coming, or 2024 is coming up. And I hope everyone is doing well. Your holiday plans are taking shape in that you're feeling good rolling into this holiday. We wish you all the best and hope you have a nice time celebrating with yourself and your families and everybody. This is going to be a talk about a place that I'll have to admit hasn't really been on my radar in my career as a travel guide. And we'll find out that's for good reason. We're talking about the Congo, the Republic of Congo. And it was brought to my attention by this gentleman you see in front of you, Guillaume. Guillaume traveled there a few years ago and fell in love with the country. And Guy and I were working in Antarctica, and he says to me, Phil, you have to hear about this place. So he sat down and talked to me, and by the end of the conversation, he convinced me to go to Congo on a research trip for Arctic Tern Expeditions. That trip took place in April, and we went to the country, and I found a beautiful country with amazing people, very very friendly, and a country that was just so uh, eager to show itself, to show its best side because it has so much to offer. Uh, there's um, there's a lot that we do here on this trip that isn't done anywhere else by any other tour company. It's a unique trip to a unique place, and is not very well explored. And it amazed me that when we were going around in Congo, that we were some of the first tourists to go to some of these places that we were going. Uh, they weren't used to this kind of thing, and it really felt like we could do something that meant something to us, that meant something to the people that we were going and visiting and interacting with, and I feel like this is a really unique tour and something that we just haven't offered anything like this with Arctic Tern Expeditions. So I am thrilled to introduce Guy. I'm thrilled to hear his talk. He's presented a really good one for us today. And I will go ahead and let Guy introduce himself here.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon if you are. Good evening if you are far away in the world. My name is Guy. For those who don't know me, I'm a French naturalist guide. I've been working with Phil in Antarctica and in the Arctic for a couple of years. But I've also been traveling around the world a lot, and I've been to many places, met many people, and I must say that Western Africa is a place that I really love, and especially the Congo. And with Phil and with Arctic Tern Expedition, we want to try to offer trips that focus on animal conservation and cultural immersions, and that's what this trip to Congo is all about. So let's start talking about it, and I will
Okay.
try to convince you that this is the place to be.
Yeah. Guy, I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to turn off my camera. So yeah, yeah, here we go.
It looks perfect. We have a bit of issue with my own personal computer. I was unable to share my screen, so Phil is sharing the screen and passing the slides for me as we go through the presentation. So let's see how it goes. Um, so guys, we're here to talk about the Republic of Congo and an expedition that I put together with a local guide that is a dear friend of mine, and that Phil and I've been going through this year in April, and that we're very happy to offer you this morning. So Phil, if you want to show us the menu of our presentation. Next slides.
Moments here.
So
Yep.
yeah, Perfect. So this presentation, we will first describe what is the Congo. You may have heard about this place. You may have questioned yourself whether it's safe or not to go there. And then we'll go through the expedition itself. What is it about? What we're going to do? What we're going to see? And then on the third part, I will go through technical details, accommodation, transportation, food, and question you might have. And we will finish with a Q&A session if there's still things you want to know. So now our first part, on the next slide, we are going to talk about the Republic of Congo. Next, please, Phil. So Congo, when you hear about Congo, you're like, oh, wow, what is it? Is it safe? I thought there were a civil war in Congo. I thought it was unstable. Can we really go there? And so, yes, on our next slide, you will see that there are actually two Congos. There is the Democratic Republic of Congo, it's not the same in French, DRC, also called the Congo Kinshasa, capital of this country, that is on the eastern part. And then you got a smaller Congo that is called the Republic of Congo, with its capital Brazzaville. And so if you look through history, one is the former Belgium Congo, and one is the former French Congo. And the one where we go try to go, and we would love you to discover, is the French Congo. So the French Congo, on our next slide, as you can see, is a very stable country, unlike his former Belgium friend that is quite unstable with civil wars going on. But the former French Congo, or Congo Brazzaville, has been stable since its independence in 1960. It has been the very, very stable republic, and the president that is now in power has been here for a long time. It's a fairly long country, 1,500 kilometers long for 425 kilometers large. And about 60% of the country is covered by equatorial forest. It has a very various landscape with the sea on its western part, the ocean, I should say. You got the Congo River that is splitting the two countries in two and bringing a very full ecosystem, and then all the equatorial forest at the north. As much Africa and much of the Western Africa, it's a very mixed ethnic country. You have about 60 different ethnic groups in the country that lives all together. The main one would be the Congos and the Teke. And the Teke is an important one because we're going to spend a lot of time in the Teke tribes. We're even going to meet the Teke queen. And you have different official languages, such as French, Kikongo, Kituba, Lingala, or another main one. So everybody speaks French, but in our tour, we will have people who speak English, which is very convenient. In Congo, as we were saying, all the northern part is into the equatorial forest, which is home of so many different species of animals and so many different species of trees. About 10,000 different species of trees and plants, and about 400 different species of birds, 100 different species of mammals, a lot of primates, as we will see later. So our journey to this country aim at immersing ourselves in the country. The country is a strong culture, so we're going to try to meet the people who make this country, and then we'll try to see this amazing nature that it has to offer us. And so on the next slides, I try to answer the question that you might ask yourself, why the Congo? I fell for this country personally because the people are amazing. When we went there with Phil in April, I was just saying we went to places where they had never seen tourists, and they thanked us for our interest in their country. And when people tell you that, you're like, oh my goodness, it's just unbelievable. Super welcoming, super friendly, strong culture, strong beliefs also that are quite different, and a different approach of life. There's so many different ways to be happy in life, but when you're in Congo, you definitely learn a different way to happiness, and that's pretty amazing. Nature, as we said, is fantastic, so rich. And I personally have an amazing contact there. That is Prince here on the picture. Prince doesn't have many pictures of himself, so that's probably the best I could put on this presentation. But Prince and myself has been friends for several years now. We put together this trip, and he's got all the contacts, all the logistic. He knows many people, so that's why I feel that this trip is very safe. and that's why I'm very happy to offer it to you for next year. And talking about the trip, let's go through our expedition. So as we've said, our expedition to Congo is going to be both a cultural immersion and animal conservation focus. And so the cultural immersion is going to be split in three parts. We're going to have, on the next slide, we're going to have a part in Brazzaville itself, because Brazzaville is the capital city. It's a very dynamic city. And also because in Brazzaville, we get to learn about the history of the country, how it was built, who made this country. So we're going to have different opportunities to learn about that. And we also meet the sappers. I don't know if you heard about the sappers. That's those beautiful gentlemen on this picture. We also will meet local peoples in a fishing village and local people in a bush village. So in Brazzaville, on the next slide, in Brazzaville, we will spend some time, as I was saying, exploring the history of the city, exploring different features. We also take the opportunity to accommodate ourselves and acclimate ourselves to the Congo. So we will start with Brazzaville. And on the first evening, we organized a sapper competition. So the sappers are Congolese who like to dress well and dress fancy. There are some people who they spend a lot of time finding the right clothes, finding the fancy clothes, and they like to show off and they like to make little presentation of themselves. And so we organized for you a little show, a little fashion show with sappers, where you will be the jury and you will get to select which one is the best of the evening. And we're very excited to show you the best. So that's going to be a very interesting evening. And then we'll have an opportunity to go into a fishing village on the Congo River. So the Congo River is really the heart of the Congo, because it's splitting the two countries, and because it's so wide, and because it's bringing so much food and so much dynamic to the country. There's a very strong relationship between Congolese and the Congo River. There's a lot of myths about mermaids, about people disappearing, about respect you need to show to the river. So we're going to connect to all these beliefs and all this connection to the river, which is very fascinating. And so this fishermen village, those fishermen, they fish all nights. And in the early morning, you got merchants who come from Brazzaville, they take their boat for 1 hour, they get to the fishermen village, and they buy the fish in the early morning. It's really the center of the activity of this village, is the morning market where everybody's coming to fish the fresh fish from the night. So we're gonna try to be there, be part of this fishing market. We're gonna buy fish ourselves, and then we're gonna eat with the villagers. They're gonna show us their way of preparing the fish that they will have caught during the night. We're going to share this time with them. We're going to be welcomed by the chieftain of the village. And when we went there with Phil, they told us that they would really appreciate if we could bring some medicines, because they have a little dispenser that is very low furnished. And so we're going to try to bring that. So we also have a positive impact on our visit. It's not just us coming and taking pictures. It's us coming, getting to know the culture, getting to know the people, and also bringing something to them. So we were very happy with this opportunity they gave us to actually have a positive impact on their way of life. So we're going to spend some time in this village, and then we're going to go back cruising on the river. And on our way out of the river, we will pass by another village that is on tilts. And so we will have a good idea of what is it to be living on a fishing village on the Congo River, because those guys, they come here to fish only. They live in villages far away from the river, but they come here to work as fishermen. They spend a week there, and then they go back to their home. Sometimes they spend a month or 2 months. So they have those very small huts on the beach where they just sleep and they fish all the time. And when they have enough money, they go back to their own villages, to their families. It's crazy way of life, and they are very happy for us to come and to share with us. So that's we're very privileged to do that. And then another opportunity we'll have to mix and to get to know villages and local people. It's going to be in the bush village this time. It's a bush village that we will access also by the Congo River. Next slide, Phil. I jumped this one. If if you go back to the PDF presentation later, I've put a special note that gives you a sum up of everything I just said. So our next stop will be in a village, in a bush village. I don't know if you've ever harvested manioc in your life. Did you have the opportunity to harvest manioc? Do you even know what is manioc? Have you ever met an African queen? Have you ever danced on drums in the jungle with African people? That's everything we offer you in this village. It's an amazing village that they've built some accommodation that are super comfortable, even though they themselves live in very small houses, and are very happy for us to come and to show us the life. So we're gonna go harvest manioc, we're gonna go bird watching with them, we're gonna go fishing if we want, we're gonna attend mass at church if we want to, we're gonna attend a football game with kids of the village. We're gonna just live with them for a full day, and you will be welcome to drop the camera for an hour or two and just dive yourself into this completely different culture. And same, we have very good contacts in this village, and they are very happy for us to come. And there's something very special, is that every Sunday night on this village, they do the kebe kebe, which is a traditional dance. And they do it every Sunday. I put the village all together, and we designed this trip around the Sunday to make sure that we will be there on this specific event and that wouldn't have to recreate it specially for us. So by being there on a Sunday, we will participate into their weekly event, and we're gonna have a fire. We're gonna cook a big meal for all together. Have a dinner all together. We probably bring some food from Brazzaville, and then we'll buy food in the village to make the local market turns. We'll share the food. We'll share the kebe kebe night, and we'll share some proper quality time with the people. They don't speak English, most of them. Some of them do, but Prince, my friend, and then the drivers and myself will be able to give you translation and to help you connect with those people the way you want. So if you register for this trip, we'll talk later about things you can bring, to share with the population, some pictures, for example, maybe some chocolates, things from home. But we ourselves will bring some presents already. We will probably bring some football games, footballs, some jerseys to play football, little things for the kids, because in this village there are several thousand people, and there are 4 different football teams who play competition between each other, the different neighborhood of the village. And so we'll try to bring things for them, and we'll cook a big meal all together. So you'll have the opportunity to cook typical traditional African meal with the women, because the women are cooking. That's gonna be great. If you're interested in getting to know the different way of life, you're going to get a lot of that during this trip. And that's really what we want you to get, is a connection from human being to human being, from heart to heart, from soul to soul, and not just being the white guy with a camera looking around and taking pictures. So that's for our cultural immersion. And yes, I forgot, this is beautiful pictures of our dear Phil meeting the Queen Ngalifu, the Queen Teke, Queen of the North, and she's a real queen. People have a huge respect for her. So by going to this village, we must pay respect to her and listen to her wisdom. She will give us her blessing, and she will probably give you good fortune for the year to come. She is worshipped as a goddess by the villagers, so we will get to know her. She will welcome us, and once again, we will tell you, but it's good to bring some presents for her. Phil had brought some chocolate from his hometown, and she was very happy about it. And so yes, once again, you will, if you go back to the PDF afterwards, you will have a sum up of everything I just told you. And then the second part of our exploration in the Congo would be trying to explore the wildlife and the nature part of the Congo. So we want, with the Arctic Tern Expedition, we really want to focus on animal conservation. It's our identity. It's important for us to get interested in animals, but also get interested in the people who try to protect those animals and to conserve them. And in Congo, there's a lot of work being done around gorilla. So it's a good opportunity to go there, to meet those amazing animals, but also by being there, by getting interested, and by giving some money to the project, supporting the efforts made to protect the gorillas. So if you come to this trip and if you come to other trips, you will see that we have a lot of things in our mind ready for conservation and exploration. But here in Congo, we're gonna focus. Our focus is gonna be on two different parks, which have two different way of conserving gorillas. The first park will be Lesio Luna. Lesio Luna is in the delta of the Blue River, and there's a lot of small islands in this delta. I don't know if you know, but gorillas, like many primates, they can't swim. They are very good climbers in trees, but they can't swim in the water. So if you put them on an island, they're not going to go anywhere. So it's kind of a natural cage, if we could say that. And I don't know if you know also, but in the world, there are gorillas in every zoo. And gorillas, they have this particularity that they reproduce very well in captivity. And at some point, there's that many gorillas you can have in your cage, in your zoo. And so what you do when you have too many gorillas in your cage, you try to send them to the next city or the next country, but everybody got gorillas. So they just send them back to Africa. And then in Africa, well, they receive gorillas that have been born in zoos, and they only know cucumbers and salads. So you can't release them in the wild. You need to give them a buffer time where they try to get used to this new life. And so that's what they do in Lesio Luna. Lesio Luna, they receive gorillas from all over the world, and they try to help them to reinsert to the wild and to the natural habitat. So they feed them first with cucumbers and salads because that's what they need to feed. And then slowly they will feed them with fruits and things they will find in the wild. And it takes time because the gorilla that is next to me on this picture behind me is an old guy, is about 23 years old, and is the fourth generation of gorillas in the zoo of London. So it means that his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were born in a zoo before him. So he knows nothing about the wild. So it will probably take him 1 to 2 years before he can actually self-sustain in the forest. And then there are also some younger ones from the wild because, for example, their parents have been killed by poachers, or they got lost, or whatever. So on those little islands, they have different kind of gorillas with different story, and they try as much as possible to create packs. So put them together, recreate a pack, so that when they release them in the wild, the gorillas will already have a small family and they won't be on their own. So it's an amazing work they're doing there. They've been working for 13 years, and they've so far they've reinserted 63 gorillas in the wild. And so it's a nice trip to Lesio Luna because you go on a little boat, you go in the river, in the Blue River, you get from islands to islands. And we try to get as early as possible to the park so that we can participate into the feeding. They feed them in the morning and then later in the evening because at noon when the sun is striking hard, the gorillas are hiding in the shade and they don't come out to eat. So we'll try to be early. We'll try, of course, we want to have as minimum impact as possible. So we don't want them to go out and feed the gorillas just for us. So we'll try to be there when it's proper time, and we'll participate into feeding those gorillas are just waiting to go back into the wild. And it's an amazing encounter because they're so close to us, and we get to feed them, and we get to see them eating and interacting with each other. And the persons in charge of the park will answer our questions and give us all the understanding we need about reinsertion of gorillas. So that's our first park and our first conservation project. And the second park is Ozala National Park. I don't know if you heard about this park. That's an amazing reserve. What they've done over there is absolutely fantastic. It's 13,000 square kilometers of rainforest purely dedicated to animals. And the national park here have built a little lodge that can welcome 12 people at a time. It means that they only take 12 guests at the time in those 13,000 square kilometers park. It's amazing. Going to Ozala is such a privileged experience because only you're gonna be there. There are 3 different lodges all along the park, and so you spend nights in different lodge and you go deeper and deeper in the forest. And this park, as I was telling you, and is an introduction, has about 10,000 different plant species. So many birds, so many mammals who live in the forest. You got the tree pangolins, like you see in the pictures. You got beautiful butterflies, hornbills, lot of birds. And we're going to spend 3 full days in the park. And of course, they also have gorillas. They have 3 families of gorillas, which all have about 20 individuals each. And so when they go, so those gorillas are in the wild, of course, they're wild animals. And we're going to try to go see them. We're in very small groups. It's always 4 people maximum at the same time with 2 rangers. So it's 6 people max with the 2 rangers included, going to see gorillas. And as there are 3 families, we can have 3 groups going to see 3 families in different localization. And our tour that we offer you is including 1 gorilla trek. But as there are different families, if you want to do another one, you can always go to see another family on the next day, but that will be at your own cost. But this trip is designed to see as much as we can, and 1 gorilla trekking is included. And then during those 3 days, you're gonna see so many different monkeys, so many different birds, hippopotamus, forest elephants, buffalo, forest buffaloes. You have some hippos, you have some spotted hyenas. It's a very rare mammals. Here on the picture, you can see some kingfishers. You can see some vultures. What's the name on the bottom part? The pan-tree vulture. Pan-tree vulture. It's one of the only vegetarian vulture in the world. The gray parrot that is almost extinguished. You got some flycatchers, some hoko birds. An amazing place. It's just fantastic. So much you can get there. And so the way they design the trip in the park is that every night the rangers from the park will come to you and they will ask what you want to do. If you want to go bird watching, you go bird watching. If you want to go see buffaloes, you go see buffaloes. If you want to see gorillas, you see gorillas. It's an a la carte trip in Odzala. And the way they have to go through the park is either walking, either by car or by canoe. So the different way of exploring. And of course, we will encourage you to do the 3 of them because the experience is very different, whether you're from a canoe, from a jeep, or on your own feet. And of course, as we were saying, we're going to have a chance to meet the conservationists of the park because the people working there are doing an amazing job trying to maintain the safe haven for animals. And you can imagine that the more animals you have, the more poachers are interested. But you will also learn during this trip that gorillas have actually succeeded somehow to be more valuable alive than dead, because tourism that is created around gorillas is bringing more money to more people than to the single poacher killing a gorilla to sell it. And so actually poachers, if poachers still try to get the gorillas, they will get bananas from their own people. They will sometimes get killed by their own people because killing a gorilla is just depriving so many people from a well resource. So the conservationists are working hard on protecting this amazing nature for us to enjoy, but also for the local communities to live out from it at the same time. So it's a very nice ecosystem that benefits everybody. And so we will learn about that, about what they do, the study, the monitoring they do, and we are very happy for you to get this opportunity because the work is fantastic. And so once again, you have a sum up of everything I told you. Going to the gorilla trek on the next slide, Phil. For the gorillas, I was telling you, oh yeah, so that's a picture of what you could be doing, walking in the rivers, or doing some canoes at sunset, or being on a jeep chasing forest elephants. Looking at the gorilla trekking, we have to be careful to not bring any disease, and especially the COVID. They're quite afraid of COVID still. So we'll do some PCR tests at Odzala that are included in your package. We'll also ask you to bring some masks because they won't be provided, and we will be asked to wear masks when we're around gorillas. The hike in the forest to go see gorillas start at 6 a.m. in the morning, as I was saying, only 4% at a time. So very amazing and very exclusive experience. And then if you want to see another one, it's going to be possible. But we'll make sure that we respect the animal, because first and foremost, we go into their home and we need to be the one respecting them and having the less impact as possible. So we'll have to go through a lot of briefing with them to make sure that this experience stay amazing for everybody and that we don't disturb the gorillas when they are feeding and when they are socially interacting. Exciting. I'm sure you all want to sign up already. Regarding logistic and accommodation, we are going to have, talking about transportation, we're going to have some private cars when we need to drive around the country. We'll have 3 people max per car to make sure everybody gets a window. So you won't have to fight to not be on the middle seat at the back. With air conditioning, drivers who speak English. In the price, everything is included from driver to gas, driver, food and accommodation, and the car rental. When we go to the Congo River, we'll have a private boat with a driver. We'll have a private plane transfer from Brazzaville to Odzala. And then all the transfers from airport to hotels are all included and covered. So the transportation is being arranged by Prince and myself to ensure the best logistic possible and the less last minute bad surprise, should I say. So we won't take any public transportation. Everything will be always higher than private and to ensure the maximum comfort. And we'll always have some drinks with us, whether it's in the cars, in the boats, or in the planes. We'll always have water and other drinks to make sure that you don't miss anything. Looking at accommodation, sorry, food first. For the food, every meal is included in the package. We like to do it like that with Arctic Tern. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It doesn't mean that it's a set menu, but we've covered the restaurant, booked the place, and then you can select your menu. When we'll be in Brazzaville, in Odzala, I would say it's going to be easy to have some fancy food and some selection and choice. When we'll be in the villages, fishermen or bush village, it's going to be a bit less selective. So we will ask you to be not too picky because we'll eat what the people eat. So in Congo, you can expect to eat a lot of chicken, a lot of rice, a lot of manioc, a lot of fried bananas, spinach leaves, and fish. So if you don't like any of that, uh, bring your cookies. No, we will try as much as possible to accommodate everybody, but once we are with the villages in the bush, it's going to be limited, and so you need to be ready for that. But otherwise, the food is fantastic. Accommodation wise, we succeeded to find a very nice hotel that we fell in love with Phil. We saw many hotels in Brazzaville, but this one really took our attention. Very comfortable with always a choice of either a single room or a shared room with a little increase in price if you want to have a single room. In the Bush Village, as I said, they have beautiful cottage. You can see the picture in the middle. That's the Ngabe cottage, little wood bungalows with private bathroom and the same selection of either single or double bed. And then in Odzala, in the lodge, they built amazing accommodation in the forest with mosquito nets and all the comfort possible. You will always have water provided for you, air conditioning, mosquito nets, anything to protect you from mosquitoes or undesirable things that could come into your room. The accommodation are very comfortable. That was the one point we wanted. And so you won't have to camp in the jungle. If you were looking for that, that's not going to be during this trip. And then clothing and footwear, it's going to be different being in Brazzaville and being in the equatorial forest. So you will need to pack a little bit of different things. Should be warm enough, could be a little bit cooler in the evening, but you need to bring some waterproof, especially waterproof trousers and shoes. We might be walking into the river, walking into dumps. So you need to have shoes that can come up to your ankle. And then safari shirts, anything that breathes, cotton is better to avoid because if you get sweaty, cotton takes time to dry. So it's good to have sport gears that dry easily. Also good to have some gloves. Light gardening gloves is pretty good to protect against nettle stings. When we go gorilla trekking, we go into the mountains, we follow some little routes that the rangers know, but it might be a bit wild, so you might want to have some gloves in case you need to touch trees and things to make your way. And then a waterproof bag would be good to put your cameras and the gears you need. And as we were saying, you will need some mask for the gorilla trek. If you book this trip, we'll have the opportunity to go through the equipment again. We'll have a WhatsApp channel where we will answer all your questions. That gives you an idea roughly what you need. So no winter clothes, but dry and waterproof. And you don't want to pack too much because it's an expedition. We're going to be moving. We'll spend 2 nights in the same hotel in Brazzaville, then 2 nights in Ngabe, and back to Brazzaville for 1 night, and then in Odzala for 3 nights. There's going to be a lot of movement, so we want to pack light to be able to move around fast. We will be carrying out your luggage all the time, either by car, by plane. But yeah, you want to ease yourself with the logistic. As for disease, Western Congo, Western Africa and Congo are areas where you could get the malaria. So it's good to take your precautions. So go to your medics, see what they advise. You can take some pills before, during, and after. There's different ways. So go see your clinic and see what they advise you. But you can also take some mosquito repellents, have long sleeves. There's different opportunities to fight against mosquitoes. And but yeah, you want to be prepared for that. And then yellow fever is mandatory. So if you're not vaccinated yet, you will need to have the vaccine. And if you are already vaccinated, you will need to bring your certificate. It will be asked at the airport before they give you the visa. So yellow fever certificate is mandatory to enter the country. What is included in this package that we offer you on our website? A tour leader, so myself, for guiding, for review sessions, for pre-departure consultations. After departure, talks during the day. I will be with you the whole time, making sure everything goes smoothly and guide you through everything I know about Western Africa. We'll have local guides in Brazzaville and in the villages that speak English. We'll have prints, local tour leaders who will be we have plenty of people around you to help you. All the transportation within Congo are included, all the accommodations, all the meals, as we said, with the drink included per meal. So for every meal, you will have one drink included, either a beer, wine, or a cocktail. If you want more, then you can buy yourself. You will have mineral water wherever we go, whenever we go. All the entrance fees to the park, the rangers fees, everything is included. All the activities are included, including one gorilla trek. If you want to do another gorilla trek, that would be for you to pay. The PCR test for the gorilla trek is included. Presents for the villages are included. Actually, at least our side, you're always free to bring more things. You have an evacuation air ambulance insurance that is included. And we will provide you with a safari shirt with our beautiful Arctic Tern Expedition logo on the back. That looks good on pictures. What is not included, on the other hand, is your international flights to get to Congo, your visa that will be delivered on arrival that you have to pay for, your yellow fever vaccination, the extra gorilla tracking, as we said, extra drinks that you might want, and then anything that you want to buy in the country, little souvenirs and anything, and tips for drivers, local guides. We don't encourage to give money to the people. We will tell you that again. Every time we are either on a fisherman village or in the bush village, we'll ask you to not give money to anyone. But that's why we organize a big meal. That's why we come with gifts, because we don't want them to start relying on tourists to get some money, and we don't want to create conflicts because you give to someone and not to the other one. So we will go through that again. But once we're in the communities, we don't give any money to anyone. And then I think next slide, Phil. We come to an end of this presentation. This is, as Phil was saying at the beginning, this is a trip to Congo like no other. This trip we put together with a print doesn't exist. You can go to Odzala, you can go to Brazzaville or to Pointe Noire, but this trip that gives you such an immersion in Congolese culture and such an immersion in gorilla conservation doesn't exist. And so come with us, dive into this amazing country, let it inspire you and change your life forever. And that's it for this presentation. We are happy to answer questions if you have some.
Yeah, thank you, Guy. Really appreciate that. Such a fantastic place and a great presentation too. So thank you, mate. To everyone here, I would say that we do have a way of allowing you to talk. It won't bring up your image, your video, but we can let you ask questions just with voice. And we have Pamela raising her hand right now. So Pamela, we'll just ask you to unmute there, Pam.
Thanks, Phil. Phil, I met you in Antarctica.
That's right. Hi, nice to see you. Yeah, I recognize your photo.
This looks like a trip of a lifetime. I have two questions. What is the cost? I wasn't able to sign on until a few minutes late. And second, what kind of physical ability do you, minimum do you need?
So the tour is around $12,000. It can look a bit pricey at first, but the Odzala National Park itself is $2,000 per person per day, including everything. It's a very exclusive experience in Odzala, but it comes with the price. And then the ability, I would say, the hardest part would be the gorilla tracking, because you leave at 6 a.m. and you go in the forest and you go walking in the forest to try to see the gorillas. They are lowland gorillas. So that could be that could ask a little bit. For the rest, depending on your ability, we're gonna be on boats, we're gonna be on cars. When you're in the villages, if you don't feel like walking, you don't have to walk so much. If you feel like it, you can go on a bird watch tour. You can go in the field to harvest manioc. But in terms of ability, you need to be able to walk. But we are not going to do crazy hikes at all.
Okay. And one more question. What are the dates?
So in 2025, the trip will go from the 1st to the 10th of May. We have already people signed up for it, like Lisa, that is in this webinar. And for 2026, we have 2 dates already set at the beginning of May and at the end of May. We already have few guests who registered for 2026 also. So far, we have three trips opportunities for the Congo in 25 and 26 in May.
And do you have spaces left in 25?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And why May, if you may wonder, because May is between the wet season and the dry season. So it's a good in between where it's not raining anymore, but it's not too hot yet. The mosquitoes haven't had time to be born yet. So it's a good period of time where it's not too warm and not too invaded by insects. And it's very green. So it's a beautiful period of the year to visit Congo.
Yeah, that's actually something I noticed, Guy. It's we talk about mosquito and malaria, and when I went to Congo, I was worried about it and brought my own mosquito net. I found that I didn't need it, and it was just an extra thing in my bag. I came away from the trip with, I think, 2 mosquito bites, and that was it. It's all I think may have a higher density of mosquitoes, just given that it's in the rainforest and they have mosquito nets in the beds. But I think that's an excellent point you make, and a small consideration, but still one that is worth mentioning. We have a question from Lisa. And Lisa, if you can just unmute yourself.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Guy.
Hey, good morning.
Hello, Lisa.
Hey, I have a question about camera lenses. What do you suggest bringing?
Well, I would say that when we go to like wildlife destinations in general, having a lens that is able to do a lot. If you have, say, something that can extend out to anything like 300, 400 millimeters, that would be great. But there's also the weight is a consideration too. As we hop on the plane going from Brazzaville to Odzala, there is a weight limit for guests and all of their equipment. So if you bring a lot of glass with you, that would restrict your ability to bring other stuff to Odzala as well. So having a lens that is able to kind of shift between different ranges, I would say probably 2 lenses, one that allows you to grab wider pictures, and then one that allows you to really get some range and focus in on wildlife. Because when we go and look for things like elephants or birds or even gorillas, there's no guarantee of how close we'll be. I expect we'll be quite close to a lot of things. But for any particular wildlife, I would say a longer range is probably good. It's not all jungle in Odzala. There are lots of forest clearings. And if you look at the picture there, it's a larger clearing on the river. And there's these beautiful areas called bais, which are basically big swamps in the middle of the jungle that actually allow a long field of view. So it's not going to all be super up close and in your face. A lot of the wildlife sightings will actually come in these forest bais, which are right on the river and spectacular, but you need a bit of a longer lens for that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Do you know what the weight limit is?
Guy, on the plane?
I don't actually.
Sorry.
one of those things we can certainly post it on the website. And for any information, I would say we're gonna post this entire webinar. You'll have access to all the slides that are here, and then I'll make sure to update the FAQ on the Congo page on the Arctic Tern Expeditions website, and that'll reflect the weight limit on the Odzala flight.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Okay. Any other questions? You can write them in the Q&A. You can raise your hand. And I actually those are very good questions and stuff that I was just going to mention as well. Pam brought up the dates for the trip. We have May 1st through 9th in 2025. That's our 2025 trip. That goes for 12,500 US. And yes, we do still have room on that trip. We have trips of the same length in 2026, and there's actually two options in 2026, April 30th to May 8th, and May 21st to May 29th of 2026. So those of you that are interested, please refer to our website or just reach out. We're both available, happy to answer emails, and you can find us via our contact page on the website, or if you have our contact, please just reach out directly. If anyone has any questions, now's a great time to ask. Otherwise, we can wrap up. And for my part, I'll say, do you have something?
Yes, I would just add that we take only small groups. I forgot to tell that also. So we will always go with 10 people max because we wanted to stay an intimate trip. And also because in Odzala, we can't be more than 12. So it's always going to be 10 people maximum.
Great. No, good point. We have Pamela with a question here. And we'll just ask you to unmute yourself again.
Are you going to be on this trip too? Did I miss that in the beginning?
Myself.
Yeah, I will not be on the trip. I would love to go, but we're expecting a little one in February, so I'm going to stay home this time around. And
okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, I'll say thank you all very much. Thanks for attending on potentially a very early Saturday morning or late Saturday evening, wherever you are in the world. It's been a pleasure to present this to you, and I just want to convey our excitement and our gratitude for having the opportunity to do something like this. It really is special. It's such an amazing opportunity for us to be able to open up a trip that is fundamentally different from what is offered by other people that explored the same area of the world. So we're very, very excited, jazzed up about this whole thing. And I wish you all a very happy holiday. And again, if you want to reach out, please do. And Guy, I'll let you finish it up here.
Merry Christmas to you all, and I hope to see you all in Congo in May 25 or 26 or 27. It's an amazing trip, as Phil said, and a trip of a lifetime. So yeah, thank you very much for coming today. Thank you for your interest, and hope to see you soon.